Hey guys, we'll do something a little different this time. I'm gonna try to show y'all how to make homemade chicken pot pie. This is a older recipe that I found that my mother had left years ago, but it's still great. So anyway, if it ain't figured it out, we're gonna melt a half a stick of butter to start with over pretty much medium-high heat. I had it a little too high. This thing is pretty simple to make, and it's really good. So anyway, the first thing we're going to add is a half a cup of chopped celery. Stir that around real good. And add to this, we're going to add a half a cup of chopped onions. And the next thing we're going to add is basically 1 can, or it's about 3 large carrots. I'll tell you all a little secret that I learned the hard way about these carrots. If you don't cook these things long enough, you'll make your pot pie and these carrots will still be a little raw. So either you can boil the carrots ahead of time, you know, for about 5 minutes or so to soften them up, or microwave them if you like. I just boil these. It was a lot easier than having to wait. And next thing we're going to add, this is 3 cloves of minced garlic. Forgive me while I use my hands. I promise I washed them. It was stuck to the bowl. Ooh, that garlic's got it smelling really good. You know, somebody might ask, well, how long do I cook this? Yeah, about 5 minutes is good. You're just really just trying to saute those onions and celery. Like I said, you know, the carrots really need to be boiled or cooked slightly before you put them in here. Of course, I like big carrots. I guess you could cut them up in smaller, like I said, see there, they're done. Smaller chunks, and it wouldn't take as long for them to cook. Okay. Now, to this, we're going to add 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. I want you to just spread that all around. You're going to get that all covered all over that mixture. Alright, once everything is covered in the flour, we're going to add 1 3/4 cups of chicken broth. Now, Some of you might ask, well, how do I get chicken broth? I guess you could cheat and go buy some in a can. But, you know, this recipe calls for 3 cups of shredded chicken anyway. So just boil your chicken. And then when you get through, just save your water. And the water is the broth. So you just dip you out a cup and 3/4, you know, of the broth. It's a whole lot cheaper than buying it. And it's better too because it's homemade. Now, this recipe calls for 3 cups of shredded chicken. And somebody says, well, how do you know how much 3 cups is? 4 leg quarters boiled in a saucepan for about 15-20 minutes till the chicken's done is approximately 3 cups. That's what I use, 4 leg quarters. All right, the next thing we're going to add to this is going to be 2 teaspoons of thyme. Now, I may get some haters on here that says, why didn't you use fresh thyme? I didn't have time. So, that's 2 teaspoons of ground thyme. All right, now, also to this, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. Turn the heat down just a little bit. Heavy whipping cream. You can find that back there in the dairy with the Cool Whip and the, you know, in the refrigerated section. Heavy whipping cream. All right. We want to add to this a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I've already measured it out right here, so I'll save you the time. That's a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I measured it out, I promise. Now, last ingredient is we're going to put in about a cup of English peas. Man, that is beginning to look really good. All right, now to this, as I said earlier, we're going to add 3 cups of shredded chicken. My dog in there telling me it's about time to go to bed. I want to show y'all what I'm going to use. You know, if you're so inclined to make your own pie crust, by all means, go ahead. But me, I cheat. I buy the Pillsbury deep dish pie shells that come in 2s. You know, there's one, there's another one. And I'm not so inclined as to do that. So I make it in just those deep dish pie shells. So what you're going to do, you're going to end up pouring this in. Turn the heat off. Make me some room here. That way I can get my pie shell over here. Y'all forgive me for my mess. There's our pie shell. And that's really just about as simple as it is. Now, depending on how thick, you want your pie to be, you could take 2 pie shells and split this between them and probably could end up getting 2 out of it. As you see, there's still a lot left in there. Well, for those who wanted to know, there's the finished product right there. Y'all can't taste it with me, but you can take my word for it. It's good.